Tzu Chi volunteers in Sichuan, who are also known as Dazhou grandmothers, recently received China's Public Welfare Award. Dogs caught by illegal lake traps find themselves in a difficult situation as the rescue cost is high and the adoption rate is low. Welcome to DaAi Headlines, I'm Simon Gan. Thank you for joining us. China's Public Welfare Award has been given to Sichuan Tzu Chi volunteers, who are also called as Dazhou grandmothers. Their age total more than 400 years old and have dedicated themselves to carrying out Tzu Chi's work since the 512 earthquake in 2008. Let's take a look.
像那样的路，我每个月都要走，真的。我们都约好了一起走。从5.12大地震以后，我一直走到现在。
Traveling from Dazhou to Chengdu, one has to take the train for 4 hours and then transfer to a 2-hour bus ride. To reach the Sichuan Tzu Chi grounds, these grandmothers, whose total age exceeds 400 years, insist on walking for 2 kilometers to save on their travel expenses.
It costs one person 3 RMB. It costs for 4 of us 12 RMB. It does not take me a long time to walk over there.
I could save at least 3 RMB. I can donate the money to Tzu Chi.
They started volunteering with Tzu Chi because of the 512 earthquake in 2008. Back then, they were already more than 70 years old.
在那里刨南瓜哟，刨冬瓜哟，那些哟。
We were peeling pumpkins and gums, washing and slicing them. The spatula was long and the pot was big. We cooked with the spatula. We simply followed them and did good deeds. They do not reject us because we are old. I said that is fine. Most places want young people, right?
我说那很可以是吧？因为那些地方它有年轻人的吧。
Then they dedicated themselves to Tzu Chi for more than 10 years, recycling on the streets.
He said he did not have any and asked us to leave. We said, that is fine. We will come again next time. May your business be prosperous.
觉得，哎，心里那个滋味不是那么好受的。
一直不理解，二直不理解，我们总有一天他会理解我们。
When their hometown Qi County was flooded, they thought they must go provide care.
我们刚开始访石头曲线的路没修好，路都是那个泥巴路，一遇到下雨，就是一脚一腿的稀泥巴，边走边甩，甩一步走一步。
If we do not replace the roof, it will collapse. So this is how we solve the problem. His roof will no longer leak.
这个问题解决了。
They want to safeguard their spiritual home with the remaining time in their life.
Usually, we stay in Chengdu for 20 days in a month. When I come here, I cook, I boil water. Sometimes we help out with daily chores. We do recycling and clean up the place. One has to clean the entire place. That is the principle.
上不清下不洁。 就是这个原则。
The master has told us to take actions. I'm taking the actions to do the right things now. I must seize that moment.
有没有很开心？有，很开心，再笑一次。笑。
January 10 marked the 12th anniversary of Indonesia's City Hospital, which was celebrated by hospital staff. Let's take a look.
Indonesia City Hospital is located in the Cengkareng Great Love village and protects the health of the villagers. However, the medical level of this hospital is not just that of a local hospital, but one that received the highest scores in the hospital evaluation last year.
Soliditas dari para
I encourage our medical staff and all the management and the Tzu Chi Foundation, as it is not difficult to reach an international medical level.
Heads from local government and the supervising bodies also came to congratulate them.
I feel Tzu Chi Hospital has a very good environment, especially the relationship among the medical staff.
Nurses who have worked for over 10 years also received recognition. Irma is grateful that she can work in the hospital and also study to improve her professional skills.
I'll continue working here because my colleagues are very united and we receive help from the volunteers too. The development of a hospital is forward-looking.
This is a very special day, so the hospital also shares the happiness with the mothers who just gave birth.
I feel fortunate to receive care from the doctors. I hope the hospital will become better.
There is much expectation from everyone for the hospital on this special day. The hospital will grow and become better for everyone.
Dharma Masters from Jing Si Abode visited the Quchi Recycling station to thank the volunteers for their dedication and effort in keeping the planet clean. Let's take a look at the visit.
Tzuchi's Quchi Recycling Station is located mid-mountain, surrounded by greenery, just like a small garden would.
When beings come in, they have their own place in the garden. The butterflies gather in one area, and I don't weed in one area because I'm afraid I will accidentally hurt a living being.
Not only protecting the planet, but also sentient beings, Tzu Chi volunteers set up the recycling station with wisdom and compassion to attract even unexpected passersby.
When people ask to borrow our restroom and visit our facility, that's our chance to introduce the place to them, to let them know that this is what a Tzu Chi recycling station looks like.
At the year-end reunion for the recycling station, Dharma Masters from the Jing Si Abode paid a visit, and the volunteers shared many interesting and funny stories with everyone. This recycling station's first seed is setting an example for others to follow, and an important source of energy for the community. Dharma Masters are here to send warm wishes so that volunteers can feel recharged and continue to protect the planet.
With the Lunar New Year approaching, Sichuan Tzu Chi volunteers have prepared 8 items and warm clothes for the scholarship students in Mingho. The volunteers even hike up to visit each and every one of them. Let's take a look.
Tzu Chi scholarship students from Mingho County mostly live in the mountain regions. And on this day, Tzu Chi volunteers have brought 8 items, such as thick clothes and food to each student's family. The higher they climb, the colder the weather is. Thus, the first thing they do is offer their signature warmth. Volunteers have brought rice and cooking oil so that everyone can have a good start to the new year.
The rice is hand-packed by us. It says 2019 Winter Love 8 items. We put much effort into it.
Chen Yu, who relies on a wheelchair to get around, is a college student. She fell ill and was forced to leave school and could only continue her studies at home. Yet thanks to Tzu Chi volunteers' visits, she has not lost her spirit. The clothes the volunteers brought this time for her was well received. The teacher who has joined Tzu Chi on this visit holds tightly onto Chen Yu's hands to show her support.
I have a child of my own at home, and seeing how cold her hands are, holding onto her hands is like holding onto the hands of my son. I'm feeling emotional.
Sending and reciprocating love, all is warmed by these gestures of kindness.
Dogs which find themselves caught in a leg trap typically have to have their limb amputated. However, the cost of rescue is high, but the adoption rate is very low, and not many protection groups can afford it. Follow a report as we learn more.
The leg traps are a very cruel tool because once the animal steps on it by mistake, its feet will be stuck tightly in this metal ring. There's no way to break free.
Volunteers who have rescued dogs from leg traps for a long time said that they can never be opened by simply using one's hands. One must step on them with your feet to open them, and then they demonstrate how lethal they are.
Let's say this chopstick represents a dog's foot or a cat's foot. As long as it touches this part by mistake, it immediately springs into action and catches it.
Now we look at another trap that is more lethal because it's a double ring and also has teeth in the middle. Once the leg goes in, it will be hurt immediately. This one is even worse. How should we deal with it?
Let me tell you, this kind of double ring trap is very rare. To open it, 2 people are needed.
This reporter actually participated in the test and really had to stand on one side while another stepped on the other side to get the leg trap open.
We
later visited an animal hospital in Yunlin's Huwei to learn more. The doctor told us that at least 1 or 2 dogs and cats are sent to him every month because of these leg traps. He sees that the use of these traps is still widespread.
Animals caught by the traps are usually not found in time, usually 2 days, 3 days, or even more than 4 or 5 days. Under this condition, the area that was caught is necrotic, with the majority needing amputation. If they are unlucky and hind and forelegs are caught, they may have paralysis.
Amputation surgery plus hospitalization for 10 days leads to medical expenses of at least $600. If stray cats and dogs are injured, the cost is often paid for by civilian animal rescue groups, which puts a lot of financial burden on them. When Abu was 4 months old, he was rescued from a drain by volunteers.
At that time, the trap was here, and you could see the bones, but he was very good and well behaved. I said that if he got well, I would help him find a home. It took about 50 times to participate in foster care, and we haven't found the right home yet.
The other dog that settled here longer and was injured in a trap is Mei Lian, faced the threat of euthanasia at an Elan shelter 5 years ago.
When we left the shelter, we went to the hospital for treatment and tried to advertise this dog on the internet after treatment. Even with foster care, it ended up in the same situation, and much like a child with a disability, only relatives threw them in.
Without finding a good home, this NGO has to raise these animals to old age. In addition to having a farm to house large dogs, DaAi also set up resettlement centers in Jiai's Minshong and Taibao.
This cat had its hind legs caught in a trap, and it was hung from a water pipe. The back leg had to be amputated.
Since the establishment of DaAi, we have actively invested in the rescue of such animals of $300,000. It's very difficult to keep up this work. To cut down the cost to alleviate the pressure of caring for these animals, they collect money from supporters, rely on veterinary hospitals and volunteers to take care of them.
Actually, it doesn't. They are quite balanced and they have 3 other limbs, so it won't affect their balance too much.
Animals with disabilities and missing limbs in Taiwan are more difficult to adopt. The number one is 2. So we also cooperate with foreign groups to see if there is an opportunity for them to get a new family.
When a life is harmed, it results in a greater cost to society. How to stop this negative chain of events seems to have no solution at present.
Everyone has the experience of getting injections. Do you rub the injection site after getting it? Do you bruise if you don't rub? There are a lot of sayings on the internet, but are they true? Let's listen to what the experts say.
When it comes to injections, many people cannot think of anything but just worried. Yet, all of us must listen to the words of the nurse carefully. Whether the injection site can be rubbed or not after injection is of great debate. Some people even say that they are easier to bruise without rubbing. Is this true?
不能揉啊，就会出血。
大部分的针其实打完之后是不需要揉的。
For most of the injections, the site doesn't need to be rubbed after getting the injection because it is hoped that the medication, like vaccine, would stay longer in our body after injection. For painkiller injections on muscle, we can knead the site to help the medication penetrate faster and less likely to form lumps on our muscles.
It turns out that for most injections, the injection sites do not need to be rubbed after suits. What about bruise on the skin?
通常都是因为打到这个肌肉之后呢
Usually during muscles injections, it may sometimes touch the blood vessels, or when the injection is in a subcutaneous layer, it will hinder the absorption of our blood vessels, leading to some bruising in some subcutaneous tissue.
The bruise after injection usually disappears in 2 to 3 days, but there is still a step that is often ignored. This is the pressing action after drawing of blood. Many people think that putting on a tape or pressing the wound by curling your arm up is the same. Actually,
the process of drawing blood will cause a small wound in a blood vessel. You must press the side with fingers so as to stop bleeding. If you only curl up your arm, a large part of the area is pressed instead of just the wound directly. Bleeding may not be stopped.
After drawing blood, remember to hold the wound firmly to stop bleeding. This will reduce the chance of bruising. After the injection, whether to rub or not, you must listen to the nurse's advice.
Mr. Zhou, who was an iron worker at the north gate of Tainan, was previously paralyzed due to accidental fall at work. A landlord, Mr. Chen, suffered from tongue cancer and has undergone electrotherapy. City volunteers and Tima doctors visited them regularly to provide them with medical care and emotional support.
Every time when Tima doctor visits Mr. Zhao at the north gate of Tainan, the doctor will help him with rehabilitation and change his dressing carefully.
Because he once accidentally fell off from the second floor at work during Lunar New Year, his cervical spine was fractured. Therefore, he has been bedridden. We have been caring for him for so many years, hoping to help him as much as possible in medical aspect.
Meanwhile, Mr. Tan has been bedridden for 5 years. A year ago, he suffered from tongue cancer and did a surgery. This time, Tima doctors and volunteers also need to be psychotherapists.
He has undergone electrotherapy, and the wound on the tongue has healed very well. Now we need to encourage him to open up his mind so his quality of life will be better.
We have been caring for some of the patients for 4 or 5 years already, some even more than 10 years. We try to spend more time with our patients.
Volunteers and doctors go to remote mountainous areas to give the people in need the best health protection.
Haiti's 10th anniversary photo exhibition was held at the Great Love Humanitarian Center in New York. The local Haitian Americans, including the well-known musician Paul, were invited to review the history of this decade through these precious pictures and photos.
Thank you very much for coming to this important exhibition today. What we have today will reveal that intrinsic resilience that we have towards distress and suffering.
Keeping hope alive, 10 years of care of Haiti.
This date was the date in 2010, January 2010, where the big earthquake happened in Haiti, and we lost, many lives. It was a tragedy around the world, and it brought so many people together.
I'm very grateful to participate in this event.
Today is a day of memory because we have lost more than 3,000 people. So it's a day of memory, it's a day of reflection on what happened in Haiti during those 10 years.
It represents, to me and a lot of us, the resiliency, the love and the help that we brought. So it's good to remember the tragic, but it's also, what's more important is to remember the love.
Mr. Han Huang.
Thank you everyone. The first few months when disaster happened, when people open their hearts and their minds for everyone, people help each other, people love each other. Let's try all to remember that.
And when I joined Sushi NGO, the first time I saw them, they started singing, stay calm, smile. So I tried to be like them. It's learned me how to be patient with people, how to have compassion with people.
My hope that we can improve this relation and that we can show to many countries, to many organizations, what we can do when we do it with compassion.
I hope we can keep doing what we are doing right now, and that we can have more local volunteers involved. Tzu Chi, just like Sutra said, one can be infinite.
We are more alike than we are different, and we have to remember that. It's not only when something huge, a tragedy happens. As an urgency, we need to come together now, no matter what. Peace and love and harmony.
In the exhibition mentioned earlier, a total of 100 photos were carefully selected for display, and each one has a touching story behind it. How do people feel after visiting? Let's learn more.
I think that when people don't travel, they don't see. So when there's photography involved, you see what you hear about, or you see what other people are talking about.
Photography record a moment. So someone that is not in Haiti, you get to see, okay, you know what, it is dire, but at least there's a glimmer of hope.
I think photography is really important, or just arts in general, because sometimes you can't communicate things through the written word. All of that serves to really just, I think, touch on people's hearts.
There was a picture of a woman smiling. She had a bag of rice. Haitian women have the best smiles, and just the joy that they captured in that moment was absolutely beautiful.
She just, I don't know, something about her expression was so beautiful to me. And then there's another one that's a little somber, sad. There's a little child and her just standing in the middle of like a bunch of rubble.
I take picture and at the same time I talk with those people. And I remember I talked with them. He say, you know what, I will be something really big, so I can come here by myself and do this kind of distribution. I always have this memory in my mind. So that's why this picture is really important for me.
One photo means 10 words. This is a way to remind us what happened in Haiti 10 years ago, but we still need to work to avoid that the same catastrophic situation happened in the future.
And I'm really proud to say, okay, there is or there are a group of people going to Haiti. I wish them good luck, and I wish they give Haiti 10 more years, even more.
The 9th Annual Chinese Public Welfare Award was held in Beijing, with Tzu Chi Foundation being awarded with 7 awards. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.